Okay, I'm going to show the problem with ratios. Okay, everyone has a ratio, gold to the S&P or Dow or whatever. Now, okay, so here we're looking at gold. Gold's just the regular colored red and greens, and then I put silver on as this purple line. And I learned this just kind of through observation of trading view over the years. And so here you can see the price of silver compared to the price of gold. Well, it looks like silver is relatively cheap. The problem is the starting point. And as I back out, you will watch the silver price on the right. Excuse me. Do this one, sorry. And you'll see that sometimes, wow, look, silver's more expensive than gold, right? Gold is cheap because it depends on the starting point. And so, what do these sites all use as starting points? Well, we don't know. And you just say, well, let's go back to the beginning. Well, I'll show you the problem with that. Well, look, silver's really cheap compared to gold. Okay, right there. If I go back to 1980, right? Let's just keep going back. Wow, silver is so cheap, and as commodities, you think commodities aren't like stocks. Eventually they come back, right? At least that's what I kind of got from Jim Rogers' book. But if I go, I mean, just zooming out here more, silver's super cheap compared to gold, right there. But look at this. If I go back and my starting point is 1941, silver is expensive. So let me go back to 1800s, okay? Look at that. Silver compared to gold. Well, let's be fair. Let's at least start where there's actually a chart, okay? So what do we use as our starting point? Now, the problem of going back further, I think you have two problems. One, the quality of the data. The older it gets, the less quality it is. The second problem I think that you have is this idea of kind of, amplified return, like direction over time isn't really true. It's kind of like saying if you start a car and you drive in a straight line towards the moon, eventually you end up way off course, right? Um, Assuming you don't know where the moon is, right? So I don't know if that's true, but I kind of feel like that's possible. So what is the true starting point? But again, just looking at silver, let me just go to my silver screen here. Let me turn off this annoying pictures. Okay, so let's look at a weekly chart. Okay. Okay. Just what we have here, though, is something very interesting, right? So these peaks, okay, I've done this before. You don't really need to watch this. Um, I need to go to months, perhaps. Okay, so there's silver. There's the Texan guys or wherever they're from. There's where I bought. Okay, that's the stupidity. Okay, $35. Okay, because it was over, right? But if it comes up here again, I mean, this could take months and years to get up to that point. But if you look at what gold did, it did the same thing. Yeah, let me get off this dumb chart here. Okay. Except you can see, like here, the peaks were like right there. See that? So once it busted through that, all time high. Okay, silver doesn't really have that. I guess because these peaks, right? They're so high. I don't know how long it would take to get it to that point where gold was. But when it does, it'll probably go like gold. And again, there's these crazy moves down in here. Um, you know, like I think Warren Buffett bought like silver at $5 an ounce, like here in the 80s or something. And he doesn't even like invest in that stuff, but it was so cheap, right? Anyways, there you go.